Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. This is United Across the Globe. I'm joined by the one and only Paddy, and here comes the intro. Yes, people, happy Tuesday evening or afternoon or good morning to you, wherever you are in the world. This is United Across the Globe, where we talk all things Man United, and I'm joined by the one and only Paddy from the Man United Agenda. Mate, how you doing again?
Very good. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much for having me on tonight. Looking forward. Yeah, thank you ever so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming by again, mate. Really do love having you on. And of course, you are local to Birmingham and Aston Villa. And we are, unfortunately, Paddy, we're going to talk about the shock. I feel it's a shock defeat because I really thought with the momentum we've had recently, we'll be able to go through these next two games in the Premier League before the World Cup, signify 6 points, keep up there with Newcastle and Spurs. But unfortunately, we lost 3-1. I'm guessing you watched it. I know you said you had a possibility of going to the game and you decided not to. I think your fortune was right on that one. You probably wouldn't have wanted to go. But what did you make of the game, mate? Because I was very frustrated.
Well, this is one of the biggest games for me. This is the game I look forward to all season. Obviously, it's the local lads here, the Aston Villa, who are playing United. And I've seen this game since the 90s, probably maybe the 80s and the 90s, to be fair, this game. So really special to me. Probably going back to maybe the late 70s as well, being a kid going down to this game, so it was a big one. What did I make of the game? I thought we might do well against them, but I had a bit of a doubt. But knowing that there's the first game, Emery's first game, I knew there's going to be, will there be a big manager bounce? And there wasn't there. But I was really looking forward to this game because I thought we just might, because we're doing so well, the momentum is going, but as an Arsenal fan told me in the gym the other day that I go to, went, you can't score goals. I went, yeah, you're right, mate. Can't score goals at all. So I just knew it. But that was the build up to the game. The fact that I was a bit worried. If it had Gerrard still in charge, I thought, yeah, we could do it. But having Bruno out, yeah, how are we gonna cope? But I thought we might do well. So I thought we did. But I was pleasantly surprised, shocked, and pissed off.
Yeah, I was, and Emery again. Paddy, he always seems to do it over us for some reason, with Villarreal and with Aston Villa now. And he hasn't even been there really. It's his first game in charge, and he's probably over the moon, isn't he? And I mean, another topic, I guess, about the game, mate, is should Ten Hag be criticised on the team selection that he had at the weekend? Because it did seem. I mean, I know it's difficult because there's lots of players injured and out, but do you think he played it right and giving Ronaldo the captaincy? I know a lot of people are talking about that at the moment. Was that a right move from him?
Well, who is he going to give the captaincy to? I mean, Maguire's on the bench, even though he's not a Man United defender in my case, and he's not a leader or a captain. Yeah. Would he give it to De Gea? He's the goalkeeper, as Ten Hag said. Casemiro, possibly not at this moment in time. The only choice he could have done was give it to Martinez. But I thought he wasn't going to play Ronaldo, to be fair, in this game. I thought he might leave it to the Carabao Cup game coming on Thursday. I thought he might play Rashford up front. But obviously, he took a chance on having Garnacho in there and putting Ronaldo. Ronaldo's got a good record against Villa. He really have. And the Villa fans aren't a big fan of Ronaldo because he does score against them. But that's in the past, not now. He's not the Ronaldo he was in all those games I went to Villa Park in. He isn't. So there was a chance. So I think he took a chance. He took a chance there. And I think he's got to take a bit of... I hope he learned a lesson from that game. I think he got it wrong. I definitely think he got it wrong. And he made those 3 changes at half-time, didn't he? Because he knew we had to change it massively, which made no difference whatsoever. He played Rashford in the wrong position. But again, he's not scoring goals in my case. And I don't think he's going to He's not going to get any. I just don't think he's the player. Brought Martial on. Big mistake. And also, I want to say as well, while I'm thinking about it, Van de Beek playing in the game, and three of my friends are saying it's hard to sort of pin the game on him, but he was non-existent. And I think the ship sailed on Van de Beek. Really has. I think he is trying with him. He said he's going to keep trying with him. He's his old manager from Ajax, but I think it's job done. I don't know. I mean,
why is that, Paddy? Though, why? Like, we haven't seen him for really any amount of this season at all, and then suddenly he comes into the team, and he's saying as well that he's probably going to keep trying him in the team. So what's happened in that bracket where Everton weren't really too pleased? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't really play him. I don't think it was his signing. That's what I thought. But now it seems like nearly every manager that's been under him in the last couple of years doesn't see much from him. But now Ten Hag see something. I don't understand.
I think because of his old play, he thinks that possibly that he could turn it around for him and he can play for him because he knows the player really well. But it doesn't. I don't know. Even when he come off, when he came off, and I saw his face on the bench, he looked vacant and blank, like a rabbit caught in the headlights type look. He wasn't really disappointed coming off, but maybe I can just see the fact he's just not with it. He's not a Man United player, mate. He's not the standard. Players come to this club, they've got to be at it and running like Martinez. He's got come into the club, got stuck in, and is a hero to the fans. We all want that as Man United fans. But Van de Beek, don't know. He's the fella. Bless him. He's lost. He's just not. Some players come to Man United. It either happens or it doesn't happen. And there's a graveyard full of has-beens or could-have-beens at United, and he just isn't. He just isn't the player. And I think the ship has sailed with him, definitely. People say, "Oh, you shouldn't give up on him. Give him a bit of time." No, I have a feeling that ship sailed. We've given him the time. He hasn't done it. I mean, what do you do? Do you persevere for another 10 years with him, like we do with Martial? He's coming back now. Yeah, I know he's injured, but yeah, he's going to score goals for this ship. Right? Okay. Yeah. Well, not going to happen, is it? It's just not going to happen at all.
I think the only thing for Van de Beek is maybe go back to Ajax, because they'd be sort of the only club that I feel would suit and fit him, and maybe he can regenerate his career again, because for some reason it's just not happening, is it?
Well, he's got to, because the way the team's playing at the moment is playing well, we could see it that game, even though Villa on the big manager bounce and all their players played well and they were flying, they were on it. It basically highlighted our inadequacies, didn't it? It highlighted our problems in the midfield. At the back, Lindelof, woeful. Not Dallart, again, woeful. Everyone said he's done a great job. I'm not a big fan of him. Luke Shaw got the deflection. That's all he did. But those were at it big time. So, and our forwards couldn't hit a barn door with a barn door, could it? No. So it just didn't happen up front. And Ronaldo was frustrated, but do it, mate. Do it. I mean, Ten Hag talks about getting the balls in that were poor to Ronaldo, but just excuses. You could tell he was upset. But that was it. It was just dreadful all the way around the field. We didn't deserve to win. They're up for it. And as Ten Hag has said, we've got to come to the game up for it. Things got lost somewhere. And Ten Hag had to come on second half and talk to some players, because some of the instructions he gave at half time, he had to come on the pitch and gave to a few of them, but nothing really changed second half. And you look at the goal by Ramsey. When Ramsey scored, who was with him? He was following Ramsey when he came for that goal. He had all the time. I bet he went, do you know what? I'm going to stick it there. No, I'm going to stick it there. No, do you know what? I'm going to put, do you know, I don't know at the moment. I'm going to have a cigar for 5 minutes and I'll wait. And then but the rest of them are still behind him. That's the amount of time he had to score that goal, mate. That's the amount of time he had. And it's just woeful. No one was in for it. So,
do you think, obviously Man United played poorly, but did Aston Villa actually play decent as well, seeing as they haven't really been in form recently? It's like win when Gerrard gets sacked, and then in between the game we just had and that, they lose by a lot of goals, and then they go and beat us. I don't... It's a strange one. The players' performances at Aston Villa, it seems to be up and down, doesn't it?
It does, and that's what I'm saying. I think let's see what happens on Thursday night when we play them. They're going to be a different team then. They're going to go, I can relax now. First game's over. Emery, I've done all right actually in this team. I can probably relax a bit now. Maybe that's next week's their final game for the World Cup. Are they going to relax then? I think they've got Brent. I don't know. They might have Brentford, I think, from what the lads are telling me. So then when they come back when they start up in December again, are they going to sort of had a nice holiday, relaxed, been okay, did a bit of training? Are they going to fall back into that routine? Is Emery going to be able to get these players that Gerrard couldn't get going, playing? And the bit of knowing the Aston Villa fans I know, they'll go, "Oh, I want him out. He's not good enough for us." That's what's going to fickle and Villa fans. Oh yeah, he's got a great record. He's going to win us everything. He's going to get us a cup. And then you can see, can't you? I hope it doesn't happen for them, Villa fans. I've got mates who are Aston Villa fans, so they want their club to win. They just yearn for their club to do well. But that might happen again, like you say. The sporadic their results are, and some of the players, Mings, for example, at the back, we made him look good, and he's dreadful. He's dreadful, mate. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they'll have to back Emery. I mean, not necessarily buying world-class players or anything like that, but sort of doing what Newcastle were doing. I think that's pretty much what he's going to need is decent players and smart players to come in and help the philosophy. But we'll see. He's not had the best of times in the Premier League, obviously, with Arsenal. We're going to talk about, obviously, the last topic as well, because we're only here for a very short time. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. Let's read out some comments. Matthew Bassett says, "An evening all. Big up, mate. I think he's at work tonight."
Yeah.
Paddy.
Yeah.
Bobby K, power to you, mate. And Brush with the popcorn.
Mate, good lad, mate. Love Brush, yeah. Good lad.
So just before we started, mate, you told me that you got your tickets for this Europa League game. We got Barcelona in the playoffs for the round of 16. And look, is this a hurdle we don't need right now, Paddy? Seeing as we're trying to get momentum in the Premier League, we're really focusing on that. And we get drawn with Barcelona, who have just come out of the Champions League. It's a tie. I think a lot of people outside of United and Barcelona wanted to see because of, the De Jong thing as well and how interesting that is going to be. What are you making of it, mate? I know you're going to the game, obviously, at Old Trafford. So
February the 23rd, the games are. I'm concerned because they're good and they've got Lewandowski up front, who's a striker. We haven't got a striker unless we go in the transfer window. But look, very rarely do we do anything in the transfer window in the mid one, especially, January transfer window. Very rarely these players come available that we want. So don't know. Don't think so. Possibly. I don't know if we want this at this point in time. Maybe later on we could play Barcelona, but then we've got to play these teams at some point, and they've come down for the Champions League, not qualifying. And we have not been the best in the Europa League. Again, we can't put teams to bed, can we? They're all 1-0s and they're hanging on with De Gea saving our bacon every 5 minutes. So it's not good. I worry about this game. I do. And if De Jong does turn up and starts turning everything on with all their players as well, and we don't turn up, then we could be in for a bit of a hiding, mate.
I think so, and I'm not looking forward to it, mate, at all. I really didn't want this draw. And do you think it's an advantage having it at home it's the first legs at home, right?
No, the first legs of the new camp.
Oh, right. So what do you think of that? Is that the best way to go about it, bringing it back to Old Trafford? Liverpool did to them, didn't you, in the Champions League? Can we do the same? Can we replicate that? Let's
go for a draw at their place. But then again, what the new camp's like. My God, we haven't had some great results in the new camp. We have in the past with our great players from. I remember the York and Cole show where we did them. I can remember Rivaldo. I think that was our place. Rivaldo with the overhead kick. But no, we've had. I don't know what our record is there, but it's going to be a tough one. And then getting us back to getting our crowd on a European night behind us, and hopefully, if he gets the tactics right, Ten Hag and plays. Whoever he plays on that evening, we could do them, if he does his homework on them, possibly, So I don't want to be too negative on the fact that they got these great players, but Lewandowski, my God, what a player! And if we've got, let's hope we keep Varane there and we keep Martinez there, because Martinez has been the difference for us. Let's hope he puts his foot into Lewandowski, make sure he doesn't play, and keep De Jong quiet and get Casemiro playing, and make sure, and hopefully our forwards can do it on the night.
Hopefully we don't get any injuries in the World Cup, mate, as well, because it's obviously not too far after, is it? It's only about 7 or 8 weeks, and you just got to hope that Varane's back and well, and Martinez, like you said, and Casemiro doesn't pull up any injuries. Yeah. I can pretty much see Brazil winning the World Cup, so he's definitely going to be playing quite a few games, I think, anyway. But what do you think about the De Jong link as well? Is this Does this interest you that we're going to be playing against him literally after a summer of him knocking on my door of my socials and all the media every single morning? Is he coming? Isn't he coming? And now we're actually going to be facing him. Do you think the players will have something about this game as well, that they'll go, yeah, we know he was linked to us in the summer, so we want to sort of show him that he's decided to stay, and that was the wrong decision?
It was the wrong decision, by the way. I think it's been an arse. I know there's been money issues over that he's owed, but he's been paid up now, I think. So this is his old manager. He's not wanted there by Xavi, who's there. It just isn't wanted there. I don't know what he's doing. If I saw him tomorrow staying up the hotel up the road there, I go, what are you doing? You're not needed, mate. You're not wanted. You're not. It's like you've been. It's like you're in a house and they've said, look, just can you sleep outside in the tent in the garden? That's how it is. I just don't understand it at all. But he's put his head down. He's playing. I haven't watched some of the games, to be fair, but I think we're going to be up for that. And I think, but he's a good player, and we've got to give to him that he made a mistake, and that's why we beat them at our place and we win the leg complete, both legs. It's going to be a bonus for us. And show him that he made a wrong decision, which he did do in my book. Because the whole manager will get him playing. He's not wanted. He's going to be cast aside like an old shoe in my regard. That's what I mean. I think that
it's just something about it, isn't it? It's just the fact that I think he actually really does love Barcelona, obviously because of the days of Messi, and that's when he was coming through in football. He'd be looking up to that team. He's probably supported them for a very long time. And if you're it's like someone supporting Man United and being at Man United, and if you're from Manchester especially, you just don't want to leave, do you? Like Rashford, I couldn't imagine him leaving, but there's a possibility of that sometime.
Well, he threw his toys out the pram, and somebody said, if I don't get any, I'm going to go, mate, because I tell you one thing, we want players who are going to stop here. And some players, when they leave Man United, they don't, in my view, don't go anywhere better. Once you leave United, that's it. That is your career done. That is it, except for some certain players, like Paul McGrath, for example. We had, for the love of Paul McGrath, Villa podcast on in the week. They were brilliant. Neil was fantastic, by the way. But someone like with Paul McGrath, for example, who left United injured, there's drinking issues, wasn't there, with all the players, and then became a legend at Villa. Very rarely these players that leave do it. But if he wants, going back to Gion, if he wants to stop at Barcelona, crack on, mate. But I don't think that's going to work out somehow. I just don't. I get a feeling he's like that. I feel as though when he's in the dressing room, they give him give all the rest of the shirts. At school, they give all the shirts out, and he's the one. Oh, you just have that green one there. Just give him the give him the one of the cast off shirt. He just not. I don't think he's treated right. I don't think he's at the right club. Doesn't fit to him. So it's gonna. I know it's his boy. Barcelona, Messi, Real Madrid's the big one as well, but I just don't think he fits it. I think he'll move. He'll have to move on at some point. I think the writing's on the wall. The writing is on the wall, I think, for him.
Well, we're looking for Jude Bellingham now. Do you think that maybe we've sort of pushed away from getting De Jong and we want to go for someone like Jude Bellingham? I know it's going to be difficult. They're talking about 150 million euro, and I know Real Madrid and Liverpool are looking at him. And if obviously Fenway Sports have put up the club now, haven't they, for sale, possibly? So if they get like a rich oil tycoon in, then that could change the surface of the transfer summer next year.
I hope not. I don't want Liverpool, mate, getting an oil magnet. I tell you, that'd be curtains, and then we're stuck with these lot of buffoons at the club. The Glazers, who were milking us to death.
Do you know what I'm hoping, Paddy? That I'm hoping that this has a reaction effect. A chain reaction to them to think maybe we should do the same thing. The way the dollar's looking right now, it's what's happened with Chelsea. Look, Liverpool doing. Put it up. You've literally got all you've wanted out of this investment into Man United. You can sell it for like 10 billion if you wanted to, and people would pay that for Man United because it would make more than 10 billion for them over a fair few years. If they do stay and they put in. So
no, do you know what? You made a good point. I didn't even think about that one, to be fair, about the fact will there be a knock-on effect? The Glazers going to go, like you said, the pound's a good one at the moment. Maybe it's time for us to go with it with the Fenway Group. Do you know? I'd love to feel that there was a bit of that, because they're cracking down on protests at Old Trafford now with scarves and banners, and they're getting that North Korean, you can't have a go at us type of behaviour going on with the Glazers and the club. So I just hope that they do try and possibly sell. It'd be heaven, mate. Oh my God, it'd be celebrations galore, mate. So yes, celebration galore.
It is. I do think it. I feel that something will happen. They'll be at least discussing that, maybe whether they should do that or not, and hopefully it happens, mate. Because then we can get better owners that actually love the club and appreciate and can like drive us in the right direction.
Yeah.
Back onto Barcelona though, mate. PK making his return. Obviously, he was with us for a little while. He won a Premier League. He won. Did he win the Carabao Cup possibly, and he won a Champions League? I know he's been treated unfairly at Barcelona at the moment.
Hasn't he had his last game now though?
Has he finished now? Has he actually gone?
His last game last week was tears at bedtime and everything, mate. And he's foregone the money that was being owed to him.
Right. I thought it was still in the mix, that he wasn't actually going to be leaving. I knew Xavi said he still wanted him to stay. There
was tears at bedtime. Tears.
Yeah, what do you make of that, mate? I mean, that's got to be bad for Barcelona, isn't it? Surely. I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what a brilliant centre half. What a fantastic servant for the club and for Man United as well, because we're stuck with him. And then Fergie obviously let him go, and he went to Pep Guardiola and joined that big team, and he was a rock in that defence. I think it's great. Again, another centre half, mate, but it didn't really work with us. I think maybe there was other players in front of him. He couldn't shift. Rio Ferdinand at the time, was it Vidic? I can't remember. He wasn't going to be able to shift them, mate. No way. Yeah. So, but bless him. Yeah, I wish him all the best. Good and done brilliantly. But he's back home, wasn't he, in his own place where he started from as a young lad. So he did well. He did well at Barcelona.
I think he actually scored in the run up to our Champions League win in one of the games.
Yeah.
I do remember him. I was like, this is going to be a decent centre back. Imagine if we'd had him like for the last 5 or 6 years, Paddy.
Well, we've struggled with centre halves, mate. I mean, look, you talk about the centre halves we've got at the moment. We've got Varane made of glass. Is he going to come back from an injury? Is he going to come back and go off again? Martinez, brilliant. I pray that he stays injury free. But then you got Lindelof, who's the third choice centre back, and then Maguire on the bench, which isn't going to work. You know, I might have our Fen Monday on the agenda, as you know. We'll stick with him, and a lot of fans are loyal to him, massive loyal to him. But sorry, mate, can't have him. Have him against you. I tell you what, the nightmare scenarios to have Harry Maguire against Lewandowski in that game. Something happens, and he has to bring Maguire in. I will drive there. I will leave then. I will leave. I'll just go. I'll salute the pitch, and I will go after seeing the scoreboard being 10-0 to Barcelona. Lewandowski scored all 10 because Maguire has been lost in space. I'll go, goodbye, thank you. I won't be back here again. I'll be gone.
You know, he's been given recently. He's been given advice to the female British tennis player who won the US Open, Raducanu.
Yeah, okay.
He's given advice recently on how to take criticism and etc. Right. What he's been going through, etc. I just kind of find that really strange.
Well, it is strange. How can he? She'll have to find it. How can he be advising on criticism? Okay, he stood up strong. He hasn't come out in the. Bless him. There's nothing personal towards Harry Maguire. I've said that. I've tweeted him, and he's not. He played for Leicester. He's not far from here. Great, but I'm sorry, mate. This is football at a high level, at a standard. Sorry, you haven't done it. You can. He still thinks he's captain of his club. I think he's just deluded. It does just. I mean, he's going to England, isn't he, in the World Cup? Great, and he'll score against Iran, I bet, and then go like this and go score against Iran. Against Iran, by the way, all the haters, Iran. Like he did against
Harry, wrong side.
You've against Albania. Against Albania, yeah, all the haters. It's like just man, you just ain't going to do it, mate. Do it against Man City last season. You and Luke Shaw getting handcuffed together on the near post. Do you know what I mean? It was embarrassing. So he given advice to Reddit. Yeah, given that brilliant. But sorry, mate, it doesn't milk it with me. It doesn't. For the United fans, we want better at this club, and we can see that someone's crap, and he is. He's a poor. not a centre half for the club, nor a captain. That is it. Ten Hag is saying he's a leader as well, which I find really hard. I don't know if he's being a politician. I don't know, or being diplomatic.
I think Chris Smalling was a better centre back than Harry Maguire. Am I wrong to say that?
I think that he was
Only by a bit,
he was slightly better. But I'm sorry again. Him and Phil Jones together, Dumb and Dumber again. They were dreadful, mate. Then them two were, and there was talk about getting Phil Jones back the other night on one of the shows that was there. Don't bring Phil Jones back, mate. He's still on a 50-year contract, mate. So just leave him. I don't know where he is now. He's obviously cleaning the toilets at Carrington on a 50-year contract that Woodward gave him. So that's to be shifted on, doesn't it, mate?
It's like a hologram concert. You know how they're bringing back like the dead people, and you get people going to watch. It's like that. It's time to go, man. I don't need to see this.
It is, mate. It's done, and some of the deadwood is still at United. You can see that on the Villa game. For likes of Van der Beek, Deadwood, get rid. But I know we have to have a squad. I know if players are injured, we're going to have to bring some of these players in. There's nothing we could do about it. And Ten Hag has to work with the squad that he got at the moment until we got a few transfer windows. He can bring in his own players. But please don't think that you can polish a turd. Do you know what I mean? You just can't. Sorry to say that on this show, but you can't.
No, you're right. I've said that many a time, Paddy. I'm pretty sure you've heard me say that. Well, what do you make just to talk about it's the last game of the Premier League as well, our game, and of course our last game before the World Cup.
Yeah. Fulham looked good. I mean, I watched Fulham a few weeks ago, and they beat Villa actually, Aston Villa, and they were. So is it Will.I.am? Will.I.am? Is it? I get him mixed up. Will.I.am? You know the Fulham player, the ex.
Willian,
sorry. He was brilliant for Fulham. Will.I.am. Yeah, I always get it mixed up with him. I don't know why, and whether pronunciation it gets really poor. But he was lively for them in that game, and Fulham, they're no pushovers. They've got a striker as well, haven't they? Can score goals. I know he scored a lot of goals in the Championship. He's not doing too badly this year.
He's been out recently, hasn't he? I'm not sure if he's going to play actually because he wasn't there for the last game. And I think Serbia are going to the World Cup. I might be wrong, but I think they made it this year. I'm not sure actually, but I think that he might want to save himself for probably one of the only times he will make it if they are going. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure. So he might not be playing, Paddy, so that might work in our favour, right?
It might work in our favour. I think it's it might work because we need to look at the last game before the World Cup, and we need to basically. I know we got the Thursday game Caribbean Cup, and hopefully we'll beat Villa. But if we lose them, that's a double humiliation for me personally, mate, massively. I'm gonna have to take stick a second time. Hopefully we'll beat them at Old Trafford, our own place. But I think the weekend, if we come off a win there, then great. Then we can take the momentum into December when we play our game on the 27th of December. We play Forest. I'm going to that one. So Forest on the 27th, not the 26th at home. So it would be great to see that momentum going into that game, and we'd have to worry. And then hopefully he can have a look. He must be having a look at a few things now, Ten Hag, and see whether or not what's good, what's bad. But the moment of it, so he's obviously going to have a look at a few things and maybe can change things around because we got a difficult January and February coming up, really busy, in Christmas period as well.
Well, it is. I mean, we've got really no break between the end of the World Cup to the start of the Premier League. It's literally, I think, a week. So if some of our players are getting to the final, Paddy, it's they're going to need a couple of weeks off, aren't they? So they're not going to necessarily
no go, mate. That for round of 6 will be gone, mate.
We will, but imagine like Anthony and Casemiro for Brazil. If they get to the final, they're not going to be.
Oh back. Sorry, you're right, Matt. Yeah, exactly.
Forget the English players. We don't have any good English players.
That's not coming home, mate. They're coming home by plane, mate.
I'm not worried about Luke Shaw.
No, Luke Shaw. Yeah, exactly. He'll be having all his Big Macs in the his fries in Qatar somewhere. But
I mean, generally, our players that play for other countries, this could be worrying for us.
Yeah, you're right, and that could be a concern because I thought we'd missed Anthony on Saturday. He's my favourite player at Man United. Yeah. Even though an Arsenal fan again said he's done nothing since the Arsenal game. Maybe right, but I still think he's been moving the ball about, doing some good things for us. But you're right.
Well, Jesus hasn't been scoring, but he's still doing stuff for Arsenal, isn't he? It's the same thing.
Exactly. So you're right. Some of these players might come back injured, and we've got to be worried that's why the depth. My big statement on this: the depth of the squad of quality is not there at United. When you have a few injuries, you have to bring in the deadwood, and you go to bring him in. We're going to have to, mate. I know, but he's shit. I know, but we're going to have to. What about him? He's got to come in as well. I know, but he's hasn't been playing all season. You'll bring him to bring back Benson Hedges, mate. You know what I mean? From the from what's the name? You know what I mean? On the back of the packet. So that's what we're going to have to do, and that's the problem with the squad we've got, and that's why transfer window. Will he be allowed to spend Ten Hag? Will he be able to get the players he wants? I know we were looking at the player from Van Nistelrooy's club. Is it Feyenoord?
PSV.
PSV. The player there, but is that too soon to bring this striker in? I'll be looking at others. So I don't know what's going to happen in the trade, but we need a striker, definitely. But you'll get them. Maybe you'll get them.
I'm hearing the Lille striker, Canadian.
Yeah, Jonathan David. Is it David?
I can't remember. I've only actually heard about that link today. That's the first time, and I've never actually heard of the player either.
Yeah.
I think it's something like it's a standard Canadian.
Yeah.
You know. What do you make of that? That's 40 million apparently.
Look, again, it's not tried. It's not testing the Premiership. But if he's got the quality and if he's been looked at, but I haven't seen some of you. I'll have to have a quick look at him on YouTube. But if we get someone and does the business for us, like Javier Hernandez did for us in the transfer, when we signed him from the Mexican club, 9.5 million at the time, brilliant, and we had him in there. He did the business for us on the second half of the season. Someone like that turns our season round and scores the goals. That'd be great then when we can get to that top 4 position, which we need, because it is getting tight in there now. Newcastle are doing the business. Arsenal, top of the league. Man City maybe will get it. So it's a bit, we've got to be really good. And Spurs, again, they can't win stuff, Spurs, can they? Liverpool, going to come again? Maybe, or don't they? Possibly. So it's tight in there, isn't it, for those places? We want to be there or thereabouts. Not just Europa League, Barcelona, difficult, mate. So you got to look at those avenues. We don't want to end the season with nothing. So
no, we don't. Brilliant. Read out a few comments here. Paddy, Sports Capital will beat Barker, hopefully. Yeah. He says it's Muncie, by the way. Big up Muncie. And Anthony Herbert says, big up Matt and Paddy. Hope you're well. Would United have to sell before they buy in players, Paddy?
I don't know. Maybe we're not going to buy a lot and bring in a lot. We'll probably bring a striker. We'll bring in more than that. I don't know if any players will go out in the transfer window. We might need them for the season. Unfortunately, we will do, even though they're crap, some of them. But I don't know. I doubt it, mate. I mean, I think that'll be left to the summer when the outs go. The outs. The likes of Martial can go back to where they come from, and then what player came from? Monaco. Yeah. So I don't know where these players will be sold off. It's to bring in more other players. Let's see. We might even have a new buyer, but we have a new club owner, as you said. But you just don't know, Matt, as you've just said. So let's see what happens.
It'll happen like in the next during the World Cup as well. Someone goes, you know what? I'm loving the football right now. I really fancy, delving into my pocket and just going and buying Man United, and you just never know. What else was I going to say? I can't remember now. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Smash like, share, subscribe if you can. Paddy, thank you again for joining us. Where can everybody find you, mate?
Well, you can find me on the Man United Agenda. I'm on Twitter, Patrick Silk 11. I'm on Twitter regularly. And I'm on the agenda, Man United Agenda regularly as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Paddy.
Brilliant.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll have La Ligue des Champions show tomorrow, talking about the Champions League fixtures that are coming up in February. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a brilliant rest of your evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world, and stay safe. Bye-bye.